Hi everybody, it is Trisha LaCroix with Sacred Uprising Institute and Conference, and today we are going to be talking to Laurie Green regarding living your truth. So before Laurie jumps onto the video, I wanted to mention one more time that we have the conference that is coming up September 18th, 19th, and 20th in Santa Cruz, California. It's actually in Watsonville, California. It's about an hour from south of San Jose, and it's going to be at Mount Madonna. Mount Madonna, if you go to mountmadonna.org, you can take a look at the venue, and here in the next week, our website will be up and running for you to take advantage of the early bird special. All of you know Christopher Lee. He's been one of our teachers, and he's the one that's creating the website. So we're so excited about that. So just waiting for Laurie to jump on here, and we can talk about living your truth. She has been doing this amazing series on From Tradition to Truth, and really what it has to do with is going from, if you were raised in a religious background and you are transitioning to a life of spirituality, spirit. So that's what this series has to do with. And Laurie, I can't think of a better person than Laurie to teach this series. So anyways, and then after Laurie gets on and we do our video with her, we're also going to be talking to Candace at 12:30 Pacific Standard Time, and she will be talking about marriage, the sacred path. Let me see about Laurie should be getting on now. Let's see. Okay. Hey, Christy. So just waiting for Laurie. Laurie's trying to jump on. There's been, let's see if that works, Laurie. We've been having a lot of problems with Facebook Live over the last couple of days. So, anyway, if you want to get some more information about the conference, please feel free to message me. You can get me on Trisha at sacreduprising.com. Would love to answer your questions. If you have any topics that you would like to see covered, please let me know. All of our teachers are putting together what they're going to be talking about here in the next week. And Laurie, it's so good to see your face. Yay!
It's so good to be seen.
I know, right? It took us 20 minutes, but we got there.
We got there.
We got there.
Facebook's been giving us a run for our money, but we're here. Hi, everybody. It's good to see you. Jason, honored to see you there. Oh, my goodness. Wow. This is so wonderful. And as always, it's so good to connect with you. And so living your truth, let's just get right to it.
Yes.
Living your truth. So I heard you say before I popped on that this really is a good topic, and the series that I've been doing, definitely for those of us who have come out of more of a religious background and moving into our truth. And so those of us who have had that experience, there are certain challenges certainly that come with making that transition and making that move in your life and making that choice, because it really is a choice that we make to go ahead and move forward with what our spirit is telling us that we need to do. But it can be challenging, right? It can be challenging. And the reason is because for those of us who came out of that background, obviously we were born into some tradition, we were born into a belief system, and in fact, most of us were born into a belief system. But some of us were born into these traditions and belief systems that were very, very rigid and that were very, very fear-based, very, very much. And so fear, I find, is probably the biggest thing that we are going to deal with in making this transition. So what are we fearing? What are we fearing? We're fearing losing more than anything. There's been so much talk on Sacred Uprising lately, and I love this, about finding your tribe, about finding the people who resonate with you.
Yes.
And one of the things and finding your truth and walking and living your truth is how we do that, right? And so when we're coming into this truth, we're coming out of this tradition, that same principle, it's like a reverse of that principle that can keep us caught in staying where we are, because the fear of losing our tribe, the fear of losing the people closest to our family.
Right.
I don't know about the religion you grew up in, but the one that I grew up in did something called disfellowshipping. And so if you walked away from their teachings and their belief system, your entire family was required to no longer speak to you.
Yeah.
And
Yep. And it's
so,
funny
I mean,
because we have Renee and Christy both who went to they were, hi Renee, hi Christy, that they both went to the same church that I was raised in. And
yeah,
you lose your tribe. The kids that I grew up with from the time I was 5 years old had nothing
yeah,
to do with me. And although we didn't have a title for it like your church did, but it was very much that your parents, everything. I got cut off so quick. So yeah, you lose everything. You lose your identity because those people made you who you were, right?
yes, absolutely. And when you're young, when you're 18, 19, you're just trying to come into some sort of sense of who you are in yourself. All
Right.
of those people are your support system,
Right.
and so certainly there's fear attached to that. There's fear of losing your family, fear of losing what you know to be love, not to mention fear of, the unknown and coming
Right.
into what you don't know. Like
Right.
that, there's the judgment also that comes with it. Some other places call it disassociation, by the way. It's disfellowshipping or disassociation. It's just, and some places, like you said, don't even have a name for it, but you feel it.
Oh,
You
it
feel that
happens. Yeah.
you feel as you begin to develop some autonomy and your own thinking, and you begin to ask questions. Suddenly, you feel this coldness or uh, this withdrawal of love. There's this withdrawal of love that you
Right.
feel, and withdrawal of your security. And if you're not conscious of what's happening, it can cause you to shut down and go, okay, obviously it's not good for me to move into those waters.
Yep.
So let's not rock the boat. Let's just stay where we are and be able to maintain that safety and security that we've known. It often is not even a conscious thing that's happening because it's so deep. It can be so deeply ingrained, and that's why things like being your own spiritual scientist, improving your truth, and knowing it for yourself, moving closer to love when you begin to feel those fears, when you begin to doubt, recording your experiences, and then being able to embrace and accept what's happening becomes so important because it gives us the strength and the courage to follow through with whatever it is that we are knowing to be our truth at this time, because it can be difficult dealing with the judgment from others, less known the judgment you're being told that you're going to get from God, for stepping away.
Yeah, and
You want to say
that's
something?
what when you go from a church where it's all fear based, you're taught, even if you question the pastor, that there's going to be judgment. So when you leave that church, you just walk, and it's like, and what you think you create, right? So you leave and you're like, I know that God's going to judge me now, but I can't be there anymore. But I know for sure, hey, this is real stuff right now.
Right.
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 But there's that fear again. There's that fear again
Right.
that, okay, I'm going to be judged. And then I started looking at everything that was happening in my life going, God's judging me because I left, or God's judging me because I don't like that pastor. And,
Exactly.
but that's not the way it is.
It's not the way it is. And that's why we want to renew our mind and move closer to love, because when we move closer to love, it doesn't matter what people are saying. We know that we know what's happening and what we're experiencing in our life. Because you're right, even if you don't vocalize it, the conditioning can be so strong that even just thinking about it, we begin to condemn ourselves because we are feeling that, oh my gosh, I'm thinking I'm moving away and now God's going to judge me and I'm going to burn in hell and all those things. And I don't say them, it looks maybe like I'm mocking, but I'm not. I'm not saying this frivolously or mockingly at all, because it is real. I remember as a child having dreams about hell, having dreams about, going to this place of torment if I deviated from the path that was set before me. So this is all very, very real. But I also know and even once you move out of it, it still stays in your mind. And I know from personal experience that as we move closer to love, as we move closer into universal, because we are talking here in this series about personal truth. We're talking about personal truth, but there is a universal truth that is consistent throughout all traditions and throughout everything. And as we move closer and closer, and that universal truth is that God is love, that God is love, that this beautiful infinite source of all wisdom and all knowledge and all everything is a source of love, and that it has your highest good at its core. And so that is a universal truth. As we move towards that universal truth, it allows us to stand firm and true in our personal truth, which allows us to begin to walk it out and live it. So overcoming that fear is a huge piece. And some things that can help us with that. Yoga can help us with that. There are certain stones that I wanted to mention that are useful with that. Obviously, energy healers, Reiki practitioners, or chakra clearers, because what can happen is things can get caught in our throat chakra. Our truth can get caught there. And so now we're not able to speak it, we're not able to walk in it, we're not able to live it. And eventually, if we don't address it, it will manifest in other ways in our lives. For me personally, I had a thyroid condition that manifested in my life, and it was tied to some other things, but my thyroid, the doctors wanted me to zap it, and take medication for the rest of my life. And I was like, no, that's not resonating with me. Let me try a few other things to see if we can get it lined up. And now it's been fine for like the last 10 years. So everything's energy. Everything is energy. So when we have an energy block anywhere in our system, it probably will eventually manifest physically in our body. And so having this struggle with our truth is one of those things. So working with a Reiki practitioner, working with an energy healer, working with someone who can help clear our energy system is very, very useful. Someone that we trust and that we can feel, because trust is a huge thing when we're talking about this particular issue. We have been taught not to trust ourselves first and foremost, and then others. And so finding someone that you feel safe with, that you can allow into your energy system in a way that affords openness for your true healing to occur is important in this matter. Amethyst. Yes,
yeah,
please.
This is the thing, is that there are many different layers of understanding your truth, knowing your truth. There are many different layers to it. And in living it. So when I first started out, I lived it a little bit. I mean, even the first time my dad saw me in pants, oh my God, that was a big living in my truth. I mean, because I was never allowed to wear pants because that was a manly thing. So, and admitting that, I had wine or whatever it would be. So it's okay to make those little baby steps. And I honor those baby steps, honor those. But now, that was in '89. Now where I am today, this is my truth. And I don't give a flying, what people think. Because this is who I am. And I like who I am. I like all of me. I like the holy and unholy and sassy and fragmented and whole pieces about myself. I love it all. And so, and I don't have to make excuses for it. So so just be kind to yourself when you're going through that process. Give yourself radical grace to go through that process in your timing that feels right for you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for saying that, because that is so, so important, because this is a process. In the same way that it has taken us years and years and years of conditioning to get where we are now going to reverse that and begin to do the unconditioning. And it is a process as well. And we want to be gentle with that. Like you said, we want to love ourselves through this process. And so some of the stones I want to mention are amethyst. Amethyst is a great healing stone in general. It's a beautiful stone to keep in your presence, to carry on you. I always say when I buy stones, I generally buy them so that I can wear them somewhere and keep them, whatever's resonating with me for that time, to wear it and keep it with me. So amethyst is a good one. Amazonite is a good one. That stone is really useful for helping us be able to speak our truth. So this is a really good stone when we're talking about the throat chakra, to be able to help you with that too. Aquamarine is a good stone for fear, to help us move through the fear that we might be feeling or experiencing during this time. It's so wonderful how the divine has given us so many things already to help us move through this process.
Right.
Between people we know, between the animals and the stones and the moon and all of these things that can be useful to us. And I want to say this too, that you will know. Like your spirit knows everything that you need already. So anything, if you just ask, look, what do I need right now to help move me through this process? The information will come to you and you will know. And I always tell people, I think I mentioned this before, spirit tends to speak in threes. So if you need confirmation, just ask for that. And it will be given to you, or will come to you in a way that's so loud that it's undeniable for you. So those are some stones and things that can help you move through the fear. So once we are doing that, we begin to accept that it's okay for us for people to move away from us, and it's okay for us to move away.
Right.
It's okay for us to be able to walk away from relationships, organizations, to walk away from things that no longer resonate with what we know to be true, and to love ourselves in that process as well, that we're not being judgmental. We could be, but it obviously serves us better that we not. We don't have to be judgmental. All we do is just know, well, you know what, this doesn't resonate with me anymore, so I'm just going to move away. I'm just going to move into what resonates with me better. Certain activities may no longer be as palatable to us as they used to be. As we evolve into our truth, certain things that we were okay with before, perhaps we're not feeling like it's okay anymore for us, because it's not about what's okay for anybody else. It's just not what's okay for us anymore.
Right.
For instance, I used to be a huge football fan, loved football. But as I moved further and further out, suddenly it became less interesting to me. I don't have anything against anybody who still watches football. Great. And on occasion, I'll probably watch it too. But for me right now, where I'm at, it was something that I let go of. And as we're firm in the truth that we have discovered, it allows us to move into that without feeling like we have to tell anybody else what they're supposed to be doing or how they're supposed to be moving through their own truth. It becomes a neutral space. It becomes a very neutral space when we really, really begin to live and walk out the truth that we understand and know, so that we become, in a sense, we become our truth. We become what we're, do you want to add to that? We become what we're walking in now.
Yeah, that what you said was really beautiful. So when the veil is lifted and you really see, before the veil is lifted, your world is very confined. When the veil is lifted, all of a sudden you see the universe as it is. You see how expansive it is, and that's why we lose interest in things. And I too am the same. I used to watch TV all the time. I have no tolerance for it. It's not that it's bad. If people want to watch TV, right on. I have a lot of friends that do. I don't do it. I just can't, because it's just, I have too many other things going on in my mind, and things that resonate with me and things that don't. So it's just the veil lifting, and you truly seeing, what's available to us.
Exactly. And it's wonderful because we can move in and out of that. And sometimes these things happen for a purpose, for something that Spirit is doing within us during this season. And it's so beautiful when we're able to just move into, I know my eating habits have changed. I'm not eating meat as much as I used to at all, because I just have developed this, the veil, in another way has been lifted from me in that respect. But it's okay if I don't tell other people that they shouldn't, right? Because that's for me, and what they're doing is for them. And so we want to be sure, and as the veil lifts, honestly, the more and more the veil lifts, the more neutral we become to this stuff, right? The more and more that the veil is lifted, the more neutral we become, so that we don't feel the need to promote our truth, and we don't feel the need to negate another's truth. Hi, everybody. Hi, Jeremy, Brother Christy. I see Dave. Hi, Jennifer. I just wanted to acknowledge, I see all you beautiful people. Love you, Christy. No, I love everybody. So I just want to say that as we begin to become more firmly established in our own personal truth, we don't have the need to defend ourselves.
Right.
We don't have the need to defend ourselves. And so as we're moving through this, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I want to try to stay on track. And so as we're moving through this, as we begin to understand that it's okay to walk away or let people walk away from us, then we can also find our stride. We can find out what this truth looks like for us in action. What does it look like for us in action? Right now it's Sacred Uprising, in action for us, for a lot of us right now. It can be a specific path, or it cannot be specific. It can be a specific practice. It's okay if you move down one particular path, that's the truth that you're walking in right now. And if that's the truth that remains for you for the rest of your days, then that's what it's supposed to be.
Right.
If you move into Buddhism, that's fine. If you move into Hinduism, Christianity, whatever, whatever it is, understanding that and being okay with moving into that, because it may be completely different than what you've done before. And that's fine. And knowing that you can find your stride in that. Maybe
Right.
it's moving into church. Maybe it's moving out of church. This is what's great about it, is that it could just be learning more and expanding more and more on what you already know. But it's, as we've said repeatedly, individualized for each soul. And that's what's so beautiful, is that the divine, there's so much love for us that we have this individualized path, if you will. I don't even want to use the term path anymore, because once you move into this stuff, it's like these concepts just fly away. Like there's just no words for this stuff. But we try, and so it's being able to move into that and know that whatever it is, that it's personalized for us, and then in that personalization and in that understanding of that personalization and in that space of neutrality, we begin to understand that it's also personalized for each other individual as well. And so we can embrace all of that. We can accept and understand all of that in this space of divinity, an infinite all that exists. So finding our stride. And then as we find our stride, we find our voice. And that is where some of those stones I mentioned can become useful to us, as we find our voice. And then we're able to speak our truth. And we're able to, as we, again, move through this expansiveness and move closer and closer and closer, deeper into this love energy, we're able to speak our truth with understanding, with passion, see, this word passion, if we really study it, particularly in regards to how it's used in the Christian text, that it says that when Jesus healed, before he healed, he was moved with deep compassion, and he healed all. So that deep compassion literally means with passion, and it is that deep level stirring passion that we feel deep within, that is based in love, that is based in pure, unadulterated love. And as we move closer into our love, this truth, that's what this truth is. As we move closer into that universal truth, which is love, then we're able to speak our individual truth in that same way, with the passion that is supported by the compassion of love. And so it has a vibration to it. That allows it to resonate with those who identify with it as well. So as we speak our truth and walk in our truth, and we become our truth, then we begin to radiate our truth. We begin to vibrate this truth. And as we vibrate this truth, we're willing to move with it. If that means that we need to stand alone, we will, because we know that as we are vibrating, that it's reaching out, that frequency is going out. And as that frequency goes out, it will match the other frequencies that are there as well. That's our new tribe now. Those are the people now that we connect with in a new way and in a different level, right? And so it's okay that others walked away. And it's okay that we walked away or we moved away, because now we're vibrating in authenticity. We're vibrating in authenticity, which I forgot to mention is the secret word today. So if you're listening and you would like a free session, just type in authenticity. And you will win that. So as we vibrate in this new way, we are living and being our true, authentic selves.
Right.
And that is where our wholeness is. That is where our happiness is. That is where our tribe is. The people who love us on a energetic, universal, pure level. That's where all of that is. The one that we're calling in is on that level right there. In that authenticity vibration. That's where it is. That is where our highest good, our highest life, our best life is in that vibration, because it is in that vibration that all that we are, all that we desire, all that we need, it exists in that vibration. That vibration is us at our highest self. Mm-hmm. It is us vibrating at our current highest self. And as we're willing to continue to vibrate and move through that way, we continue to go from glory, to grow and to grow, to grow and to grow. Thank you, Christy. That might actually go to you. So she's the only one who's typed it. to grow and to grow and to move forward in what we're doing and where we're moving in this space. So living our truth really comes down to trusting the truth, moving closer and closer into the truth, and being able to radiate that truth as we become that truth for ourselves and to others. So that's what I wanted to share today.
I love it. You know what? It's it's also being faithful to your truth. If you want to be faithful to another, you first have to be faithful to yourself. And I posted something about that this morning. It's being kind to yourself. It's taking yourself out on dates. It's being to yourself what you want someone else to give you. And part of that is standing in your truth and being faithful to it. In words, in deeds, actions, everything.
Yes, it's being full of faith. It's being full of faith in the truth that you have come to know. And all of those things come by some of the steps that I mentioned before, proving it out for yourself so that you know what that truth is, embracing it and being available to the truth of the present and open to the truth of tomorrow. It's all of that so that we're able to be full in faith. We're full of that love, energy, and truth. And as we're full of that faith, we can exercise it. It happens by osmosis, that we now are exercising it towards ourselves. And then as we begin to do that, it becomes, again, this process that just sort of naturally occurs, that we're able to exercise it towards others, because now we're functioning out of the essence and the universal truth of who we all are. And it becomes this beautiful, beautiful thing.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Laurie, I love this lesson. And I think some of the people that we're watching, they will be encouraged to keep taking those baby steps and living their truth and being faithful to it. And knowing, I mean, like you said, the vibration of it will bring it back to them tenfold.
Yes, so much more. Whatever we think the universe is trying to give us, whatever we think the divine, or whatever label we want to give it, whatever we think it's trying to give to us, you and I both know this. We have no idea.
No idea.
What it really is, what the desire really, really is, until we begin to walk in it. So just trust, and from those of us who've walked it, just keep walking, just keep moving, keep going in deeper and deeper into the truth. And you will be amazed beyond. Ear hath not seen, ear have not heard, eye has not seen the glory, the beautiful, wonderful things that really, really have been prepared for us in the presence of the divine. So yes, wonderful.
Beautiful.
Always so good to be with you.
Yeah, I know. I love you. You stay tuned at 12:30. We have Candace, who's going to be talking about marriage, the sacred path. And I can't wait to touch base with you again, Laurie. It's always a pleasure, and I love your heart and your soul and your face. And I will, until next time.
All right. Until next time, Christy. I'll be in touch, Christy.
Right.
Bye, Christy. Bye, everybody. Love you.